The Two Arrows is a Buddhist story that illustrates the nature of suffering and how it can be transcended through mindfulness and wisdom. The story goes like this. One day the Buddha was sitting with his disciples when a man approached him and asked, "Why do I suffer? Why do people experience pain and sorrow?" The Buddha replied, "Pain is inevitable in life, but suffering is optional. Let me explain with a story. There once was a man who was shot with an arrow. As soon as the arrow hit him, he felt pain. But instead of pulling out the arrow and seeking help, he began to worry about the consequences of being shot. He thought, what if the arrow is poisoned? What if I die? What will happen to my family? What will happen to my possessions? He created a whole story around the arrow, and in doing so, he added unnecessary suffering to his pain. The man's experience is like being hit with two arrows. The first arrow represents the unavoidable pain that comes with being alive, such as illness, loss, and aging. The second arrow represents the suffering that we add to our pain through our thoughts, worries, and fears. While we cannot always control the first arrow, we can choose how we respond to it and avoid adding the second arrow. The Buddha continued, by cultivating mindfulness and wisdom, we can learn to see our experiences as they truly are without adding unnecessary layers of interpretation and emotion. We can learn to be present with our pain without resisting it or running away from it. This allows us to reduce the suffering we experience in life and find a greater sense of peace and happiness. The story of the two arrows teaches us that while we cannot always control the events of life, we have the power to choose how we respond to them. By cultivating mindfulness and wisdom, we can learn to accept our experiences as they are, and in doing so, we can reduce our suffering and find greater peace and happiness.